In today's multimedia landscape, capturing an audience's attention is paramount. Visuals are undeniably powerful, but the power of sound design in film, animation, video games, or podcasts often goes underestimated. Sound guides the audience's emotional journey and leaves a long-lasting impact. Imagine a horror movie without the chilling creak of the floorboards, or a car commercial lacking the satisfying roar of the engine. Sound design breathes life into these moments, amplifying their impact. Imagine you're playing a game, the graphics are amazing, the story is epic, but something's missing. You land a hit, but it feels weightless. You explore a spooky dungeon, but there's no eerie creak or the ominous hum. That's where sound design steps in. In video games, sound isn't just a background noise, it's the pulse that brings the world to life. It's the satisfying of the perfect coin collection, the chilling growl of the lurking monster, and the thumping bass that underscores a heart-pounding boss fight. Sound design is a secret weapon that draws players deeper into the game, keeps them engaged, and makes them feel the thrill of the adventure. It takes knowing how to layer these sounds to create depth, how to use audio cues to guide players, and how to build tension and release that keeps them hooked. Currently, there is nothing around this character. Even though true nothingness wouldn't produce a sound, we can actually add on to the nothingness with sound. Let me explore this idea further. Technically, if we say he is utterly nowhere and provide no other context to the situation, that is enough and could be sufficient. But adding a slightly ominous or disturbing pad sound could emphasize that our character is indeed literally nowhere. Let's move the character into space. Let the same sound repeat itself. The sound we are hearing is the same as before. This time we are surrounded our character with the context of space, engaging him and ourselves in that thought. Even though the same nothingness sound is still being played, we are provided with some extra content which differentiates our perspective of the situation. We can of course add extra layers of sound to further engage us with the environment. Adding different sounds can move the overall tone and the direction. It can turn space into something that is a scary abyss with no end where only darkness resides, or it can push the idea of space being something that gives hope and is something to be admired. We can also add the sounds of a large-scale space battle. And all of this could be happening on TV. And it being played on some old speakers or being watched in the room next to the kitchen where someone is cooking. Let's start again. Our character is again literally nowhere. This time, let's not think of nothingness as space, but let's think of it as an underground cave where our character has been trapped. Everything is black, and there is indeed nothing except the walls around him. I let the same main pad play from before. It seemingly fits, even though just a minute before, this pad sound was used as the main layer for space. Everything was built on this layer, and now we can build upon the same foundation again, but for a different setting. I'll add to it by adding something simple. This already can fully entertain the idea that our character is in an underground cave. By adding a voice of a man screaming, it adds to the context to the idea that the cave where our character is trapped might be a jail cell next to a torture room. The possibilities are endless. Also, at the beginning I said it was an underground cave where our character has been trapped, providing a picture of a generic cave on screen. Other than that, people watching probably placed our character into a time period. This cave could have existed in ancient Egypt or medieval England or in our current day and time. What if I told you that the sounds of the water dripping earlier were actually taken in the parking lot? Or that the screaming man that was getting tortured was actually screaming because he hurt his toe on the table? This is the power of sound design. Not only sound design is at play here, but also the visuals on the screen and my voice guiding you through the story. This isn't exactly a step-by-step tutorial, it's more like a deep dive explanation on how I personally do it. I'll show you how these sound effects can be made. Of course, there are many ways to get started. Before we do though, our first objective is to analyze the scene or game that we are creating the sound for. The importance of this step is often overlooked. In this preparation phase, we can call it, it's crucial that we understand a few things. Who is the target audience? On what platform or medium is the sound going to get played? Does this sound exist in nature? What is the importance of the sound in the scene? These are some questions you can ask yourself and reply after watching the scene a couple of times, before starting any production. For our task, I'm going to redesign the sound and music of Balatro. Balatro is a roguelike deck builder game based on poker. If you've never heard of it, you should check it out. For this demonstration, I'll record a 30-second clip of me playing the game. On the screen, you can see me opening a video of my DAW of choice, which is FL Studio. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, and you probably heard about others like Ableton, Pro Tools, Reaper, Logic, etc. I work in FL Studio because I know how to use it even with my eyes closed, and the workflow fits my style of production. It doesn't matter what you use for sound design, since only the end result matters. We ask ourselves the few questions we pointed out earlier. Who is the audience? This game is based on poker and cards, and the main dopamine hits you get are from risking your cards for the perfect hand. This behavior is mainly found in people that are the adolescent age and older. I'm avoiding to use the word gambling, since this is the dopamine loop of all roguelites today. Risk and reward. Why is this important? Well, this all may seem redundant to some, but analyzing it in this way as the creator or recreator of these sounds is important. Since we know the general group is adults, we can say that using sounds that are realistic and arcadey will probably work in this situation. We do this step because if we maybe didn't, we could have missed it and thought that this game was actually for children. It's probably a far stretch, but this simple 3 to 5 minute discussion with ourselves eliminated some of the errors we could have done. Our steps would have been different if the game was made for children. Another example of this would be children's games featuring cars. The engine noises in these types of children games are usually pretty similar among cars, but the sound for the car engine in games that are for car enthusiasts are similar to real life. They know who their target audience is, and if the sound of the Lexus LFA or the Ferrari F40 isn't the same in the game as it is in real life, they will notice. The platform or medium here is any device which can play this game or cast it onto another screen such as a TV, so headphones, speakers, TV, Steam Deck, Switch, etc. This is relatively simple, since everything that isn't a movie or a film score falls into the similar basket. One thing to note is also if the game is going to get played in a silent location such as a home or a plane, or at a loud place such as an arcade or internet cafe. This is just another variable to notice. Games that are played at the arcade have to be loud and cannot have too much low frequencies due to the build of the machines. We ask ourselves, do these sounds exist in nature? No, they do not, but a sub-question to this would be, can it be produced by recording and editing the thing we've recorded? And there the answer is yes. The other option would be to take a clean signal like a sine wave and then start from there. I usually combine the two methods, or depending on the situation, use one or the other. The importance of the sounds in this game are varying, but they are all contributing to the same goal: maximum satisfaction. This game by its visuals is a game that attracts people by its juicy looks and visual effects, so the sounds also need to represent it. Okay, so what am I doing here? I start off by watching the video several times, then I record my voice into the microphone and try to recreate the sounds of the cards being picked. I actually got it the way I wanted it the first time, and it sounds like this. And with the video, it looks like this. For this demonstration, I also use Soundly for the card sound, since I wanted to speed up the process. And they sounded nice enough. There is nothing wrong with using good quality audio libraries. Of course, you always have to check the terms of service and license agreement. I also use the VST Xenology for some of the elements. In my style of creating, I tend to lean towards harmonic and satisfying sounds when I'm let to do whatever I want. One also tool I like to use is called the Frequency Echo by Valhalla. It has 6 knobs and lets me manipulate the signal further. This process you see in the time-lapse took me about 1 hour, and I've spent about little under half of that time just listening back to the sounds I've created while watching the video. I've recorded my voice a few more times throughout the project for some other parts. So let's take a listen. What you heard are only sound effects with no music. They do their own job, but adding some music adds on to the overall gameplay experience. This is just a short demo for the purpose of showcase. I invested about 60 minutes in it. This highlights the start of the process and the flow of thinking and the problem solving. The way a project starts often can differ depending on the situation. This is just one case. For this project I used my voice, the mentioned VST, a few Foley sounds from Soundly, and a few effects. If I was to upgrade these sounds and continue and really focus on the best quality it can be, it would take significantly more time than this simple 1 hour session. The things what need the time are perfecting and or re-recording these sounds. The Foley card sounds from the library are nice, but it would be better that we recorded our own playing cards while watching the video for them to fit perfectly. Also, we could invest a few more hours recording the sounds for the UI clicks and pops to have a lot of sounds to choose from, or to create variations within the game. We could create all the sounds needed then implement them, but our job is not done there. The testing of these sounds is important, and also getting a fresh pair of ears to listen to them and give their opinion is good. We could also take a break ourselves, listen to some music or let a day pass then come back again. We come back to the project again and start the polish process. The polish process is where you take your sounds from great to excellent. The effects we use can be the stock plugins you get with your DAW or professional ones that are worth hundreds of dollars. It's important to know what each plugin does and what each knob on the plugin does as well. I won't go over them one by one in this video, I'll just show you some on the screen now. You don't need the most expensive ones, but some of the really good ones are nice to have. I use the Fab Filter Bundle plugins on almost every project, and the one that is most important to me is their EQ. After finalizing everything, it's time to mix. There are standards we should follow. We generally export SFX in WAV files and the music in OGG. The WAV format is not only important for the quality, but also WAV files start immediately without delay, which isn't the case for MP3 files for example. Don't forget to name the files accordingly. If we are working on a project, we could implement the sounds ourselves using the game engine or middleware such as WWise or Fmod. But this is a long topic which I'm not going to cover now. So to recap, sound is very important. It is found in almost all of our media. It guides our thoughts and emotions even though it sometimes is overlooked. Context is also very important, so using visuals together with sound we direct the listener into a direction we want them to go. In the steps of making this happen, we need to focus and think out of the box for some answers. This makes the process always enjoyable and challenging, which is good. Thanks for watching.